By day, Melissa Hagan is houseplant manager at Tillery Street Plant Company. At home, she cares for 60 plants of her own in her bedroom in a house owned by a friend.
I came from another house where I had a huge, glorious bathroom with great humidity, so a lot of the plants had to make that transfer to this bedroom, which has much less humidity, and some of them didn't make the cut. I don't have a humidifier, I don't have pebble trays. I'm not really trying to encourage it to be humid in here, so these are just plants that can hang with that. The morning sun comes in here, and it comes in the afternoon through this window. There's not very many plants in the corner over the bed. It's kind of dark. I always explain to people when light comes in through a window, if you imagine light going through a keyhole in like a stream of light or a beam. So you really want to keep your plants in the beam of light if possible, or at least as close to it. So the majority of the light comes in through this window onto this wall. So I have the big shelf and my biggest plant that needs to be right in that good light. And the other window gets afternoon sun, so I have plants over there that need a little bit more light.
Melissa moved in winter when the light was bright and soft.
It has been really good light for the plants, but I do worry a little bit in the summer that afternoon light might be a little bit too strong, so I might have to switch out some of the plants. Windowsills can get very hot in the summertime. My old windowsill would get over 100 degrees, and I didn't realize it until I put a thermometer on there, and it was like cooking my plants.
Bright light is good, but if you've got a hot western or southern spot, diffuse with blinds or sheer curtains in summer, or move plants out of direct rays. Turn containers 1/4 now and then for even growth. You can use compact fluorescent light bulbs in regular lamps when natural light isn't enough.
When I water them, I take them one by one to the bathroom and I water them, and when I bring them back, sometimes they just end up in different places, and it's fun to see it change and to see the different colors of plants together. I just try to arrange it by leaves that are similar, and like if they look like they're siblings, they can be by each other. My coworkers say I definitely have an aesthetic that I go for, and it's kind of whimsical. I really kind of love colors and textures and odd plants. This tall one is a Warneckia Dracaena with a white variegation. It's one of my favorites. They come in also pretty yellow colors and limey green. Most of the bigger plants in here do get to spend a little time outside. They go out in the rain here and there, and I have shade outside that I put them in that is brighter than it is in here. They can get light from all sides, so they grow evenly and not in one direction towards the light. Bromeliads are so easy to take care of, and we also have these really cool hanging moss balls. They're called kokedamas, and you can actually make the kokedama by getting moss and wrapping it around the root ball and twining it.
Picking the perfect container is part of the fun.
Some of them are just found, thrift stores, flea markets. I have a drill press at work, so I can drill a hole in anything, almost.
Bird's nest fern cuddles in a local artisan's macrame sling.
They're in their grow pot, and the plastic grow pot fits right in there. So I didn't want to repot them, it would make them heavier. You can't see the pot anyway, so I just leave them in their plastic grow pot and pop them right in there.
Some plants, like silver satin pothos, work as cuttings in simply charming accents. There are pet-safe plants like areca palm, but others may not be. Check the Humane Society's list of toxic plants.
A lot of the plants now have saucers under them, but I used to never use saucers, so I would just take them to the sink or the bathtub and just soak the soil, run water through a few times, make sure that it's getting saturated. Sometimes when you have soil that gets completely dry, it's like a sponge, and the water will hit the top and just run down the sides and out the bottom. I think that my plant is watered when really the inside is still dry. So there are tools for that. There's moisture meters, which help. In the wintertime, some of these big plants I only watered once a month, like deeply, but very infrequently. But the moisture meter has another dual purpose. You can use it as, people say to get a chopstick and break up your root ball to the soil. The water can percolate into the soil better and saturate the roots. And you want that. You want to have air also in the soil. So you can when I use my moisture meter, I'll go through and stick it in a few little plants and break up the soil. And every time you water, a little bit of soil drains out the bottom. Eventually you have a pot full of roots with very little soil. And when you water, there's no soil to hold water around the roots. So that's why it's important to go in and break them up and repot and then put them in fresh soil, and that soil will hold the moisture around them so they have a chance to drink it.
Repot or divide plants when they've outgrown their space. For most plants, choose a well-draining, lightweight potting soil.
And a lot of these plants too, like orchids and the climbing philodendron, they don't like per se normal soil. They like orchid bark mixed with sometimes peat moss, sometimes just well-draining. But they grow on trees, so they don't want to be necessarily in straight soil. So there's different mixtures that you can do for them. They don't want food in the wintertime. I just use Hostagro, and I dilute it half strength, quarter strength, and you can use it every time you water your plants. I inspect my plants, I look under the leaves, I kind of get in there and just make sure that I don't see scale eggs, which always start at the base of the plant and are like little white flecks, or spider mites, which look like spider webs. Gnats are common. They can be a sign of overwatering. They lay their eggs in the top layer of soil. I've put out traps of just like a glass of wine with a little dish soap in it.
You can also sprinkle a few mosquito bits on top. While inspecting plants, wipe down the leaves with a moist towel.
You do want to make sure that they're still able to photosynthesize, and if the dust gets too thick, it can inhibit that. So, and that's another reason why it's nice to put plants outside to get rained on. They love the rainwater. It's going to clean off the leaves, keep them nice and healthy.
Melissa packs a lot of color and sentiment into her indoor greenhouse bedroom.
The room is kind of dark without the light, so, you know, whatever I can do to kind of brighten it up and make it pretty. A lot of the things in here I got from my mother. She is a collector of beautiful vintage things. This is a Victrola. The top opens up and there's a handle on the side that you turn, and it actually will spin and play music. I don't know how old it is, but I love it with my Adansonii. This is a variety of Monstera Swiss cheese plant. This mirror was my great-grandmother's. She lived in San Antonio and she sold fur coats downtown. She was a fancy lady. And so it's always just been really precious to me. When it was sitting in my mom's garage, I knew that it's just my exact aesthetic. I love it. So I've had it for years. It's precious. This, guess who gave it to me? My mother. The chair, my mother, you know, she's a store of mom. Yeah, I know. I'm gonna tag her in the credits. So this is my mother, Eileen, and she's a nurse and a collector of many beautiful things. And she is always trying to help, you know, find new things for me. She's a lovely, lovely lady.